Hello, drummers and music people, anyone interested in music whatsoever. Welcome to Tim Conley Drums, another live stream. I thought it would be fun today to uh, not only teach you guys, but talk about my favorite drummer of all time, which is Neil Peart, and teach you guys Neil's infamous ride cymbal pattern. Also, of course, you guys are free to comment, and I encourage a conversation. Tell me your experiences. If you've seen Rush, if you ever met Neil, or anything to do with Neil, basically is welcome here. So I wanted to thank, first off, I got a bunch of new subscribers. It's strange how it comes in waves, the subscribers. Sometimes I get nothing, and then my son Liam, sounds good to me, and I've seen Rush live. Here it is, right here, you people. I've seen Rush live. Yes, you have. You've seen Rush live because I took you. And that was a great show. You probably, I don't know, do you remember it? Do you actually remember the concert? You probably don't. I can't remember how old you were. You weren't very old. So I'm going to say you probably don't really remember the concert, but it was great. What's this? I remember, I got to have my glasses here to read the comments. I remember nothing but sleeping on the train. Well, it was a good show, Liam. I can tell you that right now. It was a good show. You got to take my word for that. This is not cooperating with me here. Hold on a second. This thing is acting up. I got to go out and come back in. There we go. Sometimes this is the joy of live performance, whether it be streaming or playing. When bad things go or things go wrong, you've got to come up with an alternative plan. I said it a million times. Okay, Liam, thank you very much for letting me know that everything sounds good and the audio is good and you can hear me clearly. I know when I turn my head, the microphone is over here. The reason that I'm using the Yamaha EAD10 microphone is for the drums. Now, I'm on the talkback feature, which means that as I'm talking, this mic is picking me up, and it's designed to pick up a voice. So it's fine. Now, when I actually go to play anything on the drums, I got to click out of that talkback feature. So if you see me reaching over here like this, because the Yamaha EAD10 is beside my hi-hat over here, if you see me doing that, then you'll know what's going on. I'm just clicking it off because I'm going to play something. So first of all, if you know me, if you've watched my channel, you know that I love Neil. I love Neil's playing. And I was obsessed with him from the first time I ever heard Rush, which was probably 2112 in the 70s. When I was just learning how to play drums, I can remember my early drum teacher telling me, you got to check out this guy, Neil Peart from Rush. And it's pronounced Peart for all of you people out there, not Pert. Pert is P-E-R-T. Peart, Eart, is E-P-E-A-R-T. It's pronounced Peart. And it's always been something that annoyed Neil. But I get it. People mispronounce names all the time. Whatever. He got used to it, but it did annoy him. I know that. I've worked quite a bit with Terry Brown over the years, who was Rush's producer back in the day. I'm pretty sure he did about 11 albums. And Terry had nothing but good things to say about Neil and how classy he was. I met Neil twice on 2 occasions, and both of them were amazing. And the first time I met him was in a very strange situation because Neil never, and I mean never, did drum clinics. I get a phone call. This is probably in the early 90s. I get a phone call from a friend of mine who worked at a music store in Toronto. I think it was Steve's Music on Queen Street. I think that's where the guy worked, but it could have been Long and McQuaid on King Street. I think it was King Street. I can't remember where he worked. One of those two stores. Anyways, he gave me a call and said, "Hey, Neil Peart's doing a drum clinic at what was called Ontario Place at the time, which is now the CNE, Canadian National Exhibition." And he said, "If you want to go, I got tickets." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to go." At that time, I hadn't really been to, I don't think I'd even ever been to a drum clinic. Neil might have been to one. I think Neil was either my first or second drum clinic that I ever attended. And basically, for those of you that don't know, a drum clinic is where you go and you see a specific drummer. It's just him, not the band, just him. He's got his drums set up and he talks to a group of you. You know, there'll be anywhere from, I've been to as small as 25 up to 1,000, 2,000 seat theater when I went and saw Dave Weckl and Steve Gadd. Those clinics, I mean, they're hugely famous. So they had to have a bigger space to accommodate all those people. But when I went and saw Neil, it was a pretty big space. There's probably about 500 or 600 people there, I would say. And at that particular clinic, Neil did something that became routine later. Because the early days of drum clinics, drummers would just play drums. And that's it. It would just be a series of drum solos combined with maybe a few demonstration grooves from some famous songs that they were. I got a thumbs up, thank you. Maybe some famous songs from that they played on or something like that they would just play the groove. Later on, it became the norm, and it is the norm now, that there's often still a drum solo, but it's associated with songs. So they'll have tracks of songs that they played on. Like, for example, when I saw Ray Luzier from Korn, he played all the Korn songs. He played a medley of Korn songs at his clinic. Then they'll play a few songs, and then there'll be a moment where they take questions. So you can actually interact with the artist. And then after that, they'll do some more playing, more questions. So it's just them playing, whether it be a solo or playing to tracks, which is songs that they've usually played on, because then there's no copyright issue, and interacting with the crowd. At the very end, they hand out prizes, and not everybody gets one. Obviously, you get a ticket and they draw numbers. The drummer at the clinic draws numbers, and if you win, you win. And then there's a meet and greet at the end. You get the signed stuff. You know, if you bring a drum head or a poster or whatever, you get them to sign a piece of paper. You get a picture with them, that sort of thing. So that's a drum clinic in a nutshell. So when I went to this Neil Peart drum clinic, he played along with some songs, but they weren't like the famous Rush tunes. They were stuff that he just recorded. So actually nobody even knew any of the songs. So that was another interesting thing about the clinic, was we didn't know any of the songs. I was hoping for Tom Sawyer, YYZ, Spirit of Radio, but we didn't get any of that. We got, I think, Time Stands Still, and I can't remember the album that had been released at that time, but it was in the early 90s. So whatever album that was, I can't remember. So at the end, I got a chance to meet Neil, and he signed a poster. They had these Sabian posters there, and he signed it for me. So it was very cool, and I got a chance to talk to him, and that was amazing. So anyways, let's move on to learning this ride pattern. So the pattern is based on, it's a 1-bar pattern essentially, and it's based on a 16th note broken flow. So what that means is broken can also be termed as syncopated. So it's not flowing 16ths like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, it's not that. It's a broken flow. So the flow is 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1. Sorry, 1 and 3. Then it's 3 and 4 E and. Got it. Sorry. So it's. I'll play it on the cymbal so you can hear it. It's hard to count it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and. 1 and 2. Oh, I just realized I need to do that. There we go. So 1 and basic pattern. And I'll, oh, geez, sorry about that. I slammed my snare drum right into the microphone. Sorry about that. Okay, so the pattern is. So 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 E N. 1 and a 2 and 3 and a 4 E N. And I'll put I'll put this back on. I will put some like I'll post something so that you can see what the pattern is written out. Okay, I'll play it again here for you. So there's many variations to this too. I'm just giving you one version. Once again. Very hard to count and play it. All right, trying to see which of, I get confused if I'm on talk back or not. No, I'm not. Okay. Now I'm on talk back. There we go. So that's basically the pattern. But Neil played it in many, many different ways. That's just one example of how he played that pattern. That was just one example. And the funny thing again about being live is that it's mistakes and all, man. That's the beauty of being live. I mean, I've played that pattern a million times, but I'm usually playing it in a musical setting. It's hard to just play it on its own without, you know, actually playing a song like La Villa Strangiatum is one of the songs that I really like to use that in. It's also in YYZ. It's in Spirit of Radio. It's in many, many songs. He used it many, many times. And I noticed my snare drum tilting a little bit here on me. So I fixed that a little bit. It did. It tilted down on me. Now it doesn't want to. Oh, it's really messed up now. Let's see here. Sorry, I got to fix this. Give me 1 second. Oh, the mechanism is failing on me. Oh, no. There. Ooh, that got crazy for a second there. There we go. Tighten that back up. It kind of fell apart on me. Again, live entertainment. Jeez. There we go. Okay. One more time. Man, this DW is not cooperating. It's really loosening up on me, this stand. I've had it for a long time. It seems like it's falling apart a little bit on me. I don't want to knock that snare into the mic again. Okay, so back to Neil. One of the things that I loved about Neil was his use of interesting things like I just played on the bell, his fills, his phrasing. I mean, just everything about him was just absolutely incredible. And I really, really enjoyed his playing right up to his sad death a few years back. I saw Rush 4 times, including one time with Liam, and that was a lot of fun. If I'm not mistaken, the last time I saw Rush was with Liam. And for those of you who don't know, Liam's my son. So I'm pretty sure that is the last time I saw them, was when I was with Liam. And it was on the Time Machine tour, which was 2011 or 2012. I can't remember when that tour was. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. Liam was quite young. But you know what? I wanted to introduce him to music at a very early age. And what a better way than to introduce him to a band like Rush. They didn't have an opening band, as I recall. Again, I can't remember. It was quite a long time ago. But to this day, I still think about Neil, and I wish that I could go and see Rush again, and I could spend time, we're listening to new Rush material and whatnot. But unfortunately, it's not going to happen because Neil is gone. So really sad. However, Neil is going to be honored at a park. And if you're a Rush fan, you know the park I'm talking about. Lakeside Park, which is in Port Dalhousie, which is near St. Catharines, or in St. Catharines, which is just up the street from here. I live very close to St. Catharines, less than an hour away. Port Dalhousie already has a covered picnic area, and it's the Neil Peart Pavilion. Now, I understand that they are going to be putting 2 statues in there of Neil, and I'm just waiting to find out when those statues are going in, because I actually got invited to the ceremony, which is fantastic. And that was again through Dom Familero. Dom knows the Peart family, and he told them that I lived down the street and I was a huge fan, and I played in a Rush tribute and all this other stuff. And I spoke to, with her permission, I got the information from Dom before he died, and I spoke to her, and I'm hoping to be able to go to the ceremony where they unveil those statues, but we'll see. I haven't heard anything yet. I thought it was going to be this spring, but I guess politics, trying to get things done, moves slow in any type of city or anything. So, yeah, so basically, that's all I have to say at this particular time, and demonstrating that ride pattern. I will put a picture of it up in the either description or somewhere maybe in this video if I edit it. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how I can attach something because it's live. It's not a normal video, so we'll try and figure it out. So anyways, just a short one today. I'm coming up on 20 minutes. I just wanted to show you that pattern and also talk a little bit about Neil. I've actually had quite a few experiences with Neil and people around Neil and whatnot, but oh, here's somebody here. Oh, shoot, I can't read it without these. I make acoustic guitars, love Neil. Rest in peace. Yes. Okay, well, that's cool. Neil was a drummer, of course, but still, that's very cool. And yeah, I also love Neil. Rest in peace, Neil. It's very sad. His father died 2 years ago. And one of the things that his mother made a comment about was the child should not die before the parents. So she really took Neil's death very hard. And she's in her 90s. She's still alive, still kicking. He was a smart man and very kind. You're absolutely right. Reek, you are correct. He was a brilliant man. And he was very kind. He was not your typical rock star by any means. Love watching the video they made in that old house for the Rush song. Which song specifically are you talking about? You mean the old Tom Sawyer video in Quebec, where they stayed up at a cottage and recorded in there? Is that what you're talking about? Tom Sawyer. Okay, yeah. We're on the same page. Okay, yeah, that place was awesome. In the video and stuff, really, really awesome. What's your favorite Reek? Magic happened in that video. I totally agree. That song is just incredible. I mean, that was one of their top songs. But is that your favorite Rush song, Reek? Sorry, I'm just waiting for Reek's response here. Maybe he went away. I don't know, but it appears that Tom Sawyer is his. Working Man. They call me the Working Man. Yeah. That's off one of the early albums. Might even be their first album with Neil. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that was Working Man, or maybe Xanadu, or however it's spelled. Oh, Xanadu, I think you're meant to say. Xanadu, Xandua. Xanadu, that, or Adu, sorry. I got it mixed up. Xanadu. Yeah, Xanadu's a great song. My favorite Rush tune, probably Spirit of Radio, YYZ. Also, La Villa Strangiato. I absolutely love that song. Free Will. If I had to pick any one of those, probably Free Will. Also, Red Barchetta. I mean, I'm going to be here all day listing off Rush tunes that I like. I absolutely love all of them. Xanadu, yeah, fantastic tune. I love all the Rush stuff. I wasn't a huge fan. I have to admit, they put out a few albums in the 90s where I wasn't really a huge fan of a lot of the stuff, but um, definitely all their early stuff and some of the 90s stuff, when they started to get into the more keyboardy stuff. Subdivisions. That is my absolute favorite. New World Man off that album, Subdivisions. Those are my favorite. Subdivisions actually is probably one of my favorite albums. I love that album. All right, let's see here. Like I said, I make acoustic guitars, but I've always been drawn to drums. Love Danny from Tool, Mike Mangini. Yeah, I love those guys too. What's going on with Mangini? Where's he going to land? All right, good question. Well, he's doing his own thing. He just put out a solo album, and he is currently touring with Ray Luzier, I believe, and they're doing drum clinics. And if Ray Luzier and Mike Mangini come around where I am here for a drum clinic tour, I will definitely be there because those guys are incredible. I had the pleasure of seeing both of them play. I've seen Dream Theater with Mike, and I've seen Korn with Ray. And I also had the privilege of meeting them at a few drum festival things that I attended. Two of the nicest guys you ever met. Both of them, classy guys, amazing personalities, fantastic drummers, but more importantly, really, really good bandmates. That's ultimately the most important thing. Looking forward to what Dream Theater DT comes up with Mike's return. Oh, you meet Mike Portnoy. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm interested to see because they just recorded a new album. It's not out yet. I'm interested to hear it too with Mike Portnoy. Yeah. I was sad to see Mike Mangini leave Dream Theater because he was so awesome. But I don't know what happened, the circumstances, but Mike Portnoy somehow talked the guys into taking him back. So really, wow. Yes. Sorry. Really, what's the really responding to the drum clinic tour? Yeah, he is an absolute monster. There was a documentary, um, Drummer's Dream, I believe it was called. I'm not sure if it's still on YouTube, but check it out if you can. It's called The Drummer's Dream. Mike Mangini's in it, and it's at a music camp in Northern Ontario. I taught at that camp, but can you believe this? Can you believe this? The summer that I did not teach at that camp, Mike showed up and they brought a crew. Dennis Chambers was there. Some heavy duty Latin percussionists were there. I can't remember who all was there, but they filmed that documentary, A Drummer's Dream, at the camp that I taught at the year I didn't teach there. I'm still ticked about that. And that was like 15 years ago, probably. But anyways, it's a fantastic documentary. Check it out. Check out A Drummer's Dream. Oh, yes, responding to the new album. Yes, sorry. Dream Theater has recorded a new album, and I don't know when it's coming out, but I know it's done. And they're probably in the mixing and mastering stage. And I'm sure the album we'll be hearing about it. Just go on to Instagram or Mike's Facebook page, whatever. And I'm sure when the release date is going to be here, he will be there. Dennis Chambers, I've seen him on Drumeo. Yeah. He's killer. Dennis is really awesome. I had the pleasure of going to his drum clinic and meeting him as well. What a cool guy Dennis Chambers is. Really cool. Very musical, monster player, just phenomenal. And I really enjoyed seeing him in a clinic. Again, I took my son to that clinic. Let me tell you a funny story about my son and drum clinics. I don't know how. I can't explain this. But when he was younger, him and I have not been. I've been to some drum clinics, but he hasn't come. But when he was younger, probably between the age of about 8 to 12, 13, I took him to a bunch of drum clinics. He probably went to about 7 or 8 drum clinics. And out of those clinics, I would say he won either a general prize, or on a number of occasions, he won the second prize and the grand prize at these drum clinics. It got to the point where it was being run by Long and McQuaid, these clinics, and the Long and McQuaid guys would see him and they would get nervous because there's the kid that wins all the prizes. Now, how he was winning these prizes every single clinic, we don't know. But I got a drum bag, I got drum heads, I got a cymbal, sticks, t-shirts, you name it, because he gave it all to me. He won it all, but he gave it all to me. Have I seen Portnoy trying to play that new Tool song? Yes, I have. I did watch that. Him trying to play Numa. Yeah, that was actually really funny, because the reality of trying to play a song of that level of difficulty on the spot, mind-blowing. It took him 6 hours to put it all together, which is incredible in itself. Take me 6 weeks, if at all, if I could ever put it together. I mean, for him to be able to put that song together and perform it in 6 hours is truly incredible. That was a lot of fun to watch. I totally agree. So, yes, Danny's polyrhythms are insanity. I totally agree. Danny's got it all. Like, he'll play polyrhythmic patterns in odd time signatures and include metric modulations. Now, everybody knows what a polyrhythm is: 2 rhythms being played simultaneously, and they're usually different. So one might be a grouping of 5, the other one in your left hand, let's say, is a grouping of 3, or you can divide it up feet versus upper body, you can divide it up left foot versus right hand, whatever. You can do any polyrhythmic pattern in any style. Metric modulation is when you modulate rhythmically to a different rhythmic pattern, but you stay inside of the same feel that you're playing. So he'll take a song that's in odd time, polyrhythms, and do metric modulations on top of that, switching up rhythmic patterns. It's insane what he can do. He truly is an octopus, as they say. So anyways, Reek, thank you very much for watching. And I want to thank anyone that has watched this or watches me and subscribes to me. Thank you very much. And I'm going to get going. I'm going to end this now. So we are at 30. One more comment from Reek here. I don't want to disrespect Mr. Neil talking about other drummers. The professor is the man. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, today's topic was Neil, but we're drummers. And, well, Reek, you're a guitar player and a fan of drumming. It's normal for us to venture off and talk about other drummers because they all influence one another. I mean, what drummer hasn't been influenced by Neil's playing? I know that Danny, Mike, and Ray Luzier, all those guys are influenced by, and I know Mike Portnoy plays in a Rush tribute band on the side. So he's a huge Rush fan, heavily influenced by Neil. And you can see videos of Mike on not YouTube, yeah, on YouTube, sorry, of Mike playing, not necessarily with the full tribute, but playing along with tracks, and he's playing Rush tunes. So anyways, Reek, thank you very much for your comments. I got to get rolling. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, keep drumming. See ya. Okay, one more thing here. I didn't know that. Yes, check it out. See you, Reek. Take care, man.